Hello. Welcome to part 2 of the Minotaur playstyle guide, and we're looking at the ledge mod. And if you notice, I am missing about 9 seconds on the smoke action time. Just kind of ignore that. Um, forgot a mod, but yeah, the ledge mod Minotaur smoke. What is the point? Why play it? Well, it's the best smoke in the game. Really, legitimately, I think that is the best smoke screen in the entire game. If I could have this smoke on any ship, no matter what smoke they were normally equipped with, I would make that deal in an absolute fucking second. And the only thing you have to give up to get this smoke screen is zero point 0.6 concealment. So it takes up your concealment slot. Instead of 10% concealment reduction, you only get 5%. But basically what it does is it gives you an extra 70 seconds of smoke action time at a cost of 30 seconds of smoke's dispersion time. Which is a hell of a trade. I mean, an incredible trade to make. Because, first of all, number one, the raw amount of time. Now, normally with a full build, you get 90 up, 90 down. So you have 180 seconds of smoke. So you're in smoke for 3 minutes. With the standard full build on normal Minotaur smoke, you are in a smoke for a maximum of acts for 22, dispersions for 135. So the difference is extremely night and day. The total amount of time you were in a regular Minotaur smoke screen is just over 2 minutes. It's about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I believe, total. And in this, you are in a smoke for 3 minutes. So just the amount of time you were in each smoke is a gigantic selling point. The amount of total time you're in each smoke is an incredible selling point as well of the ledge mod, because you basically have an extra smoke. You have 12 minutes of smoke total in ledge mod Minotaur, as opposed to only about 9.5 to 10 minutes in regular smoke Minotaur. So you basically get 5 smokes worth of smoke as opposed to the 4 smokes on regular Minnow. But it's this maneuverability. I popped a smoke to farm 1 target, but I can now, you see how much time I have to maneuver around in the smoke screen. So you're kind of never wasting a smoke. Now, if you're good at playing Smoke Minotaur, you probably don't often waste smokes, but there's a lot of times where it's kind of out of your control, like a ship got dev struck that you smoked up to farm, or a ship got permanently dark, or someone got within your 5/5 smoke detect, like a sub, and is hard spotting you. My Marceau made a really good play here he threw his boat away, but he guaranteed that we killed the Shima. One of the rare examples of where making a play that will get you killed is probably like the objectively correct play, because on that HP he would never 1v1 kill the Shima anyway. And basically he was like, you know what, if I just spot him from my Minotaur and Schlieffen, then we get the kill. And I mean, assuming he was thinking that, props to this guy, good play. Value number 1, total smoke time, 3 minutes versus 2:15 per smoke, an extra 2+ full minutes of smoke over the course of a long game. Number 2, the repositionability of the smoke. The fact that, originally the smoke, I wanted it near the middle of A, and now I don't really care. And the smoke is still staying around, so the first part of it disappeared, but I can now back up into the other part. While this Smolensk makes a truly intriguing gameplay decision. Super interesting. But this smoke would have been completely gone in regular smoke Minnow. You see there's 30 seconds left on the last puff. It would have been long gone by now. So now the overlap is slightly larger, about 10 more seconds from when the smoke completely ends till you get it back compared to regular smoke Minnow. But kind of a non-existent issue when you consider how long it lasts for. So we talked about how the total duration, the duration of each smoke, are big selling points. The fact that you don't really waste it because you have over a minute to relocate the smoke screen while using it. And then the other huge factor is for your allies. Uh, Minotaur smokescreen is basically worthless. The standard smoke is basically worthless for helping your team. Almost completely worthless because it's this tiny little puff on the map. You know, like Gearing Smoke is 100 times better for helping your team than Minotaur Smoke. But with the Ledgemon Smoke, it allows you to not just smoke for yourself and relocate for yourself, but it allows you to smoke and then bring the smoke to a teammate while using the smoke. Um, and it's kind of this combination of like a crawling smoke and a permanent smoke that are both pretty good. Because you almost have the propagation of a crawling smoke, but then you also almost have the duration of a standard smoke. Uh, so like in regular Minotaur, I would kind of have to make a decision here. Like, do I want to help this Schlieffen or do I want to farm? Right? And that would be kind of like my issue. Whereas I can just keep bringing the smoke. I can keep turning into him a bit, and I can keep propagating it to him. And now we have this gigantic smoke screen to maneuver around it. And it's still going, right? Like, I still have 30 seconds left on it. So it's way more dynamic. Each smoke is better than normal Minnow smoke. Over the course of a game, you have 2+ extra minutes to farm from smoke. You can help teammates. You can maneuver in the smoke screen. Your teammates can maneuver in the smoke screen. You can relocate the smoke screen in case a different target presents itself. And there's really no ship that has a smoke like this. You know, like maybe, you know, Ledgemon Harugamo kind of gets close, but even Ledgemon Harugamo only gets maybe like, what, 50 to 60 seconds of propagation. And obviously Ledgemon Harugamo is like dog shit to play. Like, it helps your team a lot, but the playing experience is like kind of pure horseshit. So, you know, like I was able to bring the smoke all the way. I was able to smoke, get some farm, bring the smoke back to my Schlieffen to keep him alive, and then crawl back forward to get shots on their Schlieffen. I mean, there's so much more game impact from one of these smokes. These smokes have so much potential game impact. I would put them on like par with Radar Minotaur. Like, I really would. Definitely easier to play, but overall like almost as good. I think you know, really my solo win rate in Ledgebot Minnow is like really close to my Radar solo win rate in Minotaur. I mean, it's very similar. The overall win rate's very similar. Kind of both around like a 67 maybe to 70% in the Radar and the Ledgemon. And it's really only the standard Smoke Minotaur where my like win rate is ever really below 60 if I play it a few games in a row. And the problem is you're way more team reliant than Ledgemon Minnow. Way more team reliant, because if a target goes dark and a new target presents itself that you can't utilize the smoke screen for, and I mean, you see how long it was up for. Like, again, start to finish, these smokes are up for about 45 seconds more than a standard Minotaur smoke. And in this situation, it's the difference between this GK probably seeing me and getting, you know, maybe 1 to 2 salvos off to he has no chance to even shoot at me. So I really do think that if you are a Smoke Minotaur enjoyer, like you prefer it to Radar Minotaur, this is one of the best legendary mods in the game. It really is. It's that good. It's unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. I said this in the Golden Lion video, how the Golden Lion ledge mod is the super ship version of Golden Lion. Like, if Ledgemon Guden was super ship, you wouldn't feel let down. You'd be like, yeah, this makes sense. This is like that much better of a ship. I'm never taking this Ledgemon off. And the Ledgemon on Minotaur is one of those Ledgemons. Like, if you play Smoke Minnow, you are never, ever going to take this Ledgemon off, because it's so much better than the standard smoke screen on Minotaur. So much better. It's better defensively because you can trail it while running away. It's better offensively because you can creep into people. It's better utility because you can smoke teammates extremely efficiently. It's better survivability because you can maneuver around it. I mean, there's just like there's legitimately just not a single situation. There is not. There just is not a single situation where the regular Minotaur smoke has any value. And this .6 hit to concealment is a literal whatever moment. I mean, you don't have radar. Like, I mean, you counter spot or outspot like like the only thing that doesn't uh, that you get outspotted by is full concealment build Austin, right? With I believe 9.3. Yeah, Austin outspots you by point 0.3. But like, I mean, that's it, right? All the other cruisers you still outspot. Yeah, it's a little bit less, but like I've probably played over 100 games in Ledge Mod Minnow. I don't think I've ever once thought, man, this point 0.6 concealment is a bummer. It's just it just is one of the best legendary mods in the game. I think Wargaming, like with Golden Lion, put it in the objectively incorrect slot. Um, in my opinion, what this ledge mod should do is it should replace slot 6 on the Minotaur, which would nerf your DPM, and then it should also give you a concealment debuff. If I was designing this legendary mod, it would be in slot 6, it would affect the smoke screen as stated, and it would lower concealment by 5%. That's what this would do. And you would have the 9.6 concealment and also the DPM nerf. And I think that would balance it and make it an actual trade-off between playing this versus the Smoke Minotaur. Because right now there just is objectively no trade-off. Like, if you have access to this legendary mod and you're playing and you're a Smoke Minotaur main, like, what the fuck are you doing, right? Um, and it's just I'm trying not to repeat myself over and over again, but it's just like this Schlieffen has used my look, I've got 2 Schlieffens on my team. It's ridiculous. I mean, obviously this is a pretty good case situation where like the team spotted DDs and things like that, but I mean, you know, this situation in Smoke Minotaur would be a purely selfish situation where I would be in 1 or 2 puffs farming stationary. My teammates would get 0 value out of it, and I would get less value out of it. And like both of these Schlieffen should have died a long time ago, but they've been like almost permanently smoked for the last 4 minutes. It's kind of crazy how good this is to help your team, and like there's really not any ship that kind of does this. Like if you're playing smoke build gearing, like you know, like a comp build gearing, right, where you have like the smoke propagation time. Uh, like the point of that is for your team, right? Like you drop it on your Des Moines, or you drop it on your Nevsky, your Brisbane, your whatever, and then you go do destroyer things. But like the Minotaur with Ledge Mod is giving you a farming smoke and giving your team a giant curtain of smoke to hide in. Completely a different value, just a completely different value, really, than normal smoke minnow or any other smoke. All these other ships that have, like I said, ledge mod, Haru, you know, smoke build gearing. Like you can't do anything from the smoke. The smoke is drop and move on kind of a thing. But because Minotaur farms so well from smoke, I mean, it's definitely one of the best smoke farmers in the game. Obviously not against people with hands like Smolensk or Jinan, because you can start a ton of fires. But, you know, the reality is most battleship players and cruiser players and randoms, they never go nose in. They just, like, basically never go purely nose into Minotaur. Um, so it's like the game's over, just running out, trying to get some more damage, trailing a gigantic smoke screen behind me. So unless these Schlieffens shoot, they're just permanently dark. I mean, it's... And then, like, I trailed this smoke for, like, what, 30, 40 seconds? And then I get to slow down and camp. And, like, right now I have a normal minnow smoke. 40 seconds plus 90 seconds is the amount of time that the normal Minotaur smoke screen lasts. So, like, you can lay a curtain of smoke. You can lay a Harugamo ledge mod size of smoke screen and then have a Minotaur smoke. It's kind of demented, honestly. Legitimately, like, demented. Absolutely demented. Um, yeah, it's just so much better. And as we're going to see in this second replay, the aggression that you're enabled to pull off in UU Minotaur is a very, very different kind. The radar Minotaur is capable of bursts of aggression. So like you rush a flank, spot the DD with radar, take most or all of his HP, kind of retreat and come back. But the legendary mob Minotaur with certain matchmaker, okay, not in all games, not on all maps, but it enables a semi-permanent style of aggression that kind of allows you to dominate a zone on the map, really unlike kind of any ship can, because two things: the length of the smoke, and also the amount of places in the smoke that you can be is extremely unique, and the investment cost in blind torping or blind firing on you is so much higher than any other smoked up cruiser, because uh, if you have to full accelerate to dodge in the Minotaur, which is like the most effective way of dodging shells or torps, because you have this British light cruiser acceleration, which is extremely good. Um, but then you're out of the smoke. So people have a strong incentive to blind fire you, not just because you're big, easy to hit, have a giant citadel, but also because if they torp you or shoot you and make you leave the smoke, like the smoke's over. You get no more value of it. So in this situation, the sub's going to be mirrored, so he's on the 1-2 line, and the Shima's on C. So this is my cap, and it's not just my cap, it's my cap the rest of the game. It's my cap until I die, basically. And the DPM, obviously on Minotaur, is extremely oppressive, and a lot of these guys are going to turn out. Now, this is one of those situations where we have some matchmaker monitor enthusiasts on the enemy team, and it's actually good because it's going to highlight how much more survivable the Ledgemon smoke makes you, because a couple of these guys are basically going to just make a choice to blind farm you all game. And this is, just as kind of an aside, I think this is a really good example of why a lot of people use the matchmaker monitor really, really poorly. A lot of people do this where they see that someone has like a really good, win rate in a certain ship that they're playing, and they're like, oh, we need to kill that guy. But the problem is that if you aren't in a good position to kill that guy that you think is high game impact and needs to die, then like you just are wasting so much. Like the Castilla blind fired me, the Yamato's blind fired me once. This Neptune is caught flat. Obviously, like this is a GG, truly a GG Reds moment here. It's just interesting plays. He's trying to get him to radar me. I think that shot was fired before, so the Yamato has only blind fired me. But you see how much smoke I have here, right? You see how much smoke I have here? And it's making me way harder to blind fire than it normally would. And I still got a minute left on this smoke. Like, there's still a minute left on this smoke. So, I can kind of back up. Now, the early smoke puffs will go away, right? The early smoke puffs will go away. But you can kind of do a lot of baiting in this smoke screen, because you can back up out of the smoke, get vision, come to a stop, shoot, wait for somebody to shoot at you, and then you can accelerate, but you've got more smoke to go back into. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, is I'm like right on the edge, and then I'm going to just full accelerate. I'm going to get spotted, and then I can full accelerate here. And I bet you and this guy's going to shoot at me, right? Konk's going to shoot at me. But then I've got all this smoke to go back into. Yamato's going to shoot at me, right? But I've still got smoke to go back into. So, you're just such a fucking nuisance. I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, most Smoke Minotaur games, you're not going to have like a div running matchmaker monitor and just deciding to perma-grief you by just incessantly blind firing you, right? I'm not saying that is realistically, you're never going to get blind fire like this in regular in any smoke cruiser. Like, these guys are just letting my team run all over the map because they refuse to shoot things that are spotted and just shoot the fucking smoked up cruiser. But I got another smoke in 7 seconds, so I can go creep up here. The Moskva's not in radar range yet. And like, you can just dominate just dominate the middle of the map here. It's a very unique play style for smoke cruisers. There's really no other smoke cruiser that can kind of do this. The encounter kind of can, or not the encounter. What's the tier 10 one? I can. The Cerberus. The Cerberus can kind of do this, and Cerberus can light a lot of fires. But the problem is the smoke downtime on a ship with crawling smoke like Cerberus is so high, right? Like you have 2 minutes of smoke, great, but then you're down for 2 minutes. And in the Ledge Mob Minotaur, you have 3 minutes of smoke and you're down for 30 seconds. It's a totally different animal when it comes to permanently being smoked up. And these guys are like maybe turning out, and they're pushing in at sea. So in a normal smoke Minotaur, I'd be like stuck back here a little bit behind myself. There's another blind fire. You're way harder to blind fire because you're always moving, right? Uh, but I would be stuck back more in the north of B. But because of the smoke propagation, I can just keep going. I can keep going. I can keep getting right. Like I wouldn't have had any angles on that conch with a standard smoke screen. It's just like super, super valuable, really. Uh, we've got another blind fire specialist on the enemy team, um, but it's way less risky to be smoked up like this. Way less risky. It's less risky. There's more damage farm potential because you're in smoke for longer, and you can just like dominate middle position. This is a very unique way of playing the Minotaur, but it's also just kind of objectively better. Like, if you want to just perma camp in 2 or 3 puffs, like you would in a standard smoke Minotaur, well, you can by all means do that in the Ledge Mob Minnow. Like, just come to a stop, camp in a smoke, it puffs for 90, and then you have 90. So you just have a 3-minute tiny smoke screen. And like, that's obviously objectively superior to standard Minotaur smoke, but just kind of like the maneuverability you can have here. Mosfa's coming into radar now. Everyone's looking at it's just honestly, it really is incredibly fucking cringe. Undeniably just cringe as fuck gameplay by the enemy team. But I mean, in a way this is what you want. Because like every time they blind fire me and do 0 damage, that's like a giant hit maybe they get on a teammate. So it's hard to complain, right? They're helping their team lose the game by only shooting me, but uh, it is undeniably quite cringe. And I think I almost even live here. The Mosfa's radaring, and he's gonna pop out and die to shoot a stern and Minotaur that he like doesn't even really damage. Uh, but I like almost lived this. Almost, man. It was close. There you go. The smoke just ended. 33 seconds is the time you're without smoke completely. Uh, this Mosfa is he's just out here gaming. And then I think the conch from downtown, like he's got a flat broadside rune and a flat broadside Wisconsin to shoot, but nah, you got to shoot the Minotaur, right? uh, yeah. Aggressive central positioning in Ledge Mob Minotaur. It's a super, super fun way to play a smoke cruiser. It's a very, very different way to play smoke cruisers, and it's a better. This is the thing, man. It's like the smoke is not just better at AFK smoke farming as Ledge Mob. That's the game. It's not just better at just AFK smoke farming than regular Minotaur smoke. Like you can also use the smoke in an aggressive way. Like you create this gigantic no-go zone for the enemy team, and it's 3 minutes of smoke farming and then a 30-second break, as opposed to just over 2 minutes of smoke farming and a 25-second break. That was definitely interesting plays by their team. Hey man, they saw on YouTube, they watched who is it that made the who is it that made the famous blind fire guide? Flamu. They just got done watching Flamu's blind fire guide and they wanted to try it out for themselves, I guess. But cool, AFK. But yeah, central, just dominating middle position, as you see. Dominating the center of the map. Obviously a little bit matchmaker dependent in that specific game. But Yeah. Like at any point, if you get pushed in the smoke, you can just like run away and trail it. You like the wall that you can stay in. And also because what usually happens is if people see you smoke and you slow down, if it's a normal Minotaur who wants to sit in his smoke, there's like exactly one place you aim to blind fire. Like if this is the smoke screen, you aim like right here because he's gonna slow down and barely be in the last puff. But then like all of a sudden on Ledge Mod Minotaur, you get shot at as you slow down. You're like, oh fuck that, I don't want to take that hit. You just sprint back out of the smoke. Maybe you got spotted again, but the battleship is reloading now, and then you just curl around or slow down again. So it gives you so many chances to get the smoke screen right. There's so many values that it has, and that's yet another one of them. It's just hard to think of. It's hard to even keep track of like all the ways this makes your ship better at farming, at surviving, at playing aggressive, at everything. I said in the other video you should definitely run Hydro mod. I just have the radar on because I kind of equally play Ledge mod Minotaur and radar Minotaur. I kind of just swap back and forth. It's like I play radar if I want to sweat, and I play Ledge mod if I want to like have a chill experience and like average like big damage. Um, and obviously both like if you watch the regular Smoke Minotaur video, I think like our damage in those games was like 240 and 140, so something like 190 average, and then in these two games it was like a little over 200 and like 180. So I mean like uh, I think that's a really good example. I love when these back-to-back games like just perfectly feed into my information bubble. But yeah, it was like a perfect example. Those two games in regular Smoke Minotaur were, harder to win. I think they were both a loss, right? Um, very, very good average damage, like, very, very high, like 180, 190. And then the Ledgemod Minotaur was obviously showing like how much easier it is to play, how much easier it is to survive. And then you do get slightly more average damage. I think the games in this were maybe very slightly more average. But yeah, now that first replay in that regular Smoke Minotaur game, that probably would have been like a 300k and a survive or more damage game with the Ledgemar Minnow. But that is the build. I think it's the identical build to regular Minotaur. I do think that this smoke mod has a ton of value. I mentioned it in the first video. I do think you should run it on both versions because that extra propagation time. But this gives you 90 bloom, 90 dispersion, which is just crazy. It's honestly fucking crazy, 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 crazy amount of smoke. 3 minutes of smoke, and then a 33-second window before your next smoke. So like if your first smoke is being used at 2 minutes, and you're spamming smokes exactly on cooldown, right? Then you're using like a smoke at 2 minutes, and you're starting a smoke at 5:30. You're starting a smoke at 9. You're starting a smoke at, let's see, 5:30, 9, 12:30, and then your last smoke you're gonna start at like the 14-minute mark, and it's like a game that lasts 17 minutes is 100% smoke spam efficiency, which is uh, crazy. Like in a regular smoke Minotaur, if you spam smokes on cooldown, you run out quite a bit earlier. Quite a bit earlier. You would run out around like the 14 or 15-minute mark. So, uh, also, like, again, there's another example why it's better. Like, the longer the game goes on, the more powerful the smoke becomes because you're more likely to be in a smoke as the game is coming to a close. And, isolated ships more, you can play in and out of it more, set walls. Like, it's super good, but yeah, take Hydro mod. I just have radar on because I can't be bothered to change it. I just have to change this and this module, right? So that's the build. It's basically the exact same build. And then this is basically optimum UU Minotaur build. If you never played radar, like I said in the regular Smoke Minnow, you would drop this, but you would keep all of these for UU Minnow. All of these 17 points are the build. Priority target on Minotaur is like, I don't really care about it that much. I care about it a lot more in radar. I still don't run it because I don't really. I'm a PT hater. I mean, I may be the only PT hater in the game, but like, I don't give a fuck, man. My monitor kind of lets me know if I'm getting shot at. So, um, That's, I mean, it's good, but like this is worth a lot, especially because it's enhanced. 12.5% action time, because the smoke has such a long. This is like 10 seconds of action time. It's a very non-trivial amount. This is also a very non-trivial amount. You absolutely have to keep the engine alive. You absolutely have to have superintendent because you will 100% use all of your smokes. Uh, Survivability expert is like whatever. I just run it, you know. So I would say if you're only gonna play UU Minnow, you would drop radiolocation. I would grab AA probably, um, or a torpedo skill, like I said in the other Minotaur video. I just have RPF on because it works extremely well with radar minnow, and I don't want to change captains. So that is the build. Just in case for some reason this is the first time you're ever looking at Minotaur armor, this is why blind firing it is so effective in smoke, because the entire thing is a gigantic citadel with a step citadel. Basically anything that lands in your general direction has a solid chance to sit you. Another reason why ledge mob minnow is so valuable, because making blind firing on you harder. As you saw, I actually did take several big hits in that smoke, and that would have been significantly worse if I was in those tiny little puffs of the regular smoke minotaur. Um, as far as I would say the ledge mob minotaur is by far the most comfortable and easiest version of Minotaur to play. I would say it is objectively superior in game impact and damage farm potential to Smoke Minotaur, and I would say in certain situations it's so game impactful that it beats out a Radar Minotaur. Uh, I would actually argue there are more games where Ledge Mob Minnow is better than Radar Minnow, but in the games where Radar Minnow is beneficial, then it is, obviously like one of the highest impact ships in the entire game when played solo, uh, especially if a team supports you at all. But the UU Minotaur, it's like you don't necessarily need that good of a team, which is somewhat unique of AFK smoke farmers, because if the spotting goes away in regular smoke minnow, then you're like, well, fuck, the smoke is wasted. But if the spotting goes away in UU minnow, then you just like sprint out of it for up to 80, 90 seconds and relocate in it. So way less susceptible to teammates trolling your spotting, way less susceptible to blind fires, way less susceptible to like getting torped out of the smoke. Damage farm potential goes through the roof. Uh, Super, super good. One of the best ledge mods in the game. This is more about how Minotaur compares. It's not really necessarily a ledge mod review, although I guess it kind of functions as one. But yeah, if they took Radar away from Minotaur and they took Radar away from Edgar, then unique upgrade Minotaur would just straight up be like the better like much like I said with Petro, how like unique upgrade Petro is just basically straight up better than Novosibirsk. Yeah, unique upgrade Minotaur is straight up better than Smoke Mod Edgar. I truly believe that. So if you play Smoke Minnow, definitely get that. If you play Radar Minnow and don't like Smoke Minotaur, congratulations, you're in the exact same camp as I am. You would not catch me dead. You would not catch me dead playing regular Smoke Minotaur. And then I got my hands on the legendary mod, mostly to goof around with div mates, and realized it's so good. It's so good, even when played solo, that I kind of, when I play solo, split my time halfway between Radar and Ledge mod. It's that good. Uh, okay, that'll do it for the part 2 Ledge mod of Minotaur, and we'll see you in part 3 for the Radar version. Thank you for watching.